The Black Studies program at Cleveland State University welcomes you to this season of Images, a public affairs radio forum dedicated to open dialogue on a variety of diverse topics of interest and issues of concern, which focus on the life and experiences of African Americans and all peoples of African descent. By visiting our website at www.csuohio.edu/blackstudies or calling 216-687-3655, you can learn more about upcoming Black Studies program events and activities. Now, here is your host for Images.
And welcome to Images. I'm Prester Pickett, your host for this broadcast of Images. I'm here in the remote location for our Office of Black Studies, and we are on screen with a conversation with Madam President Robin Simmons. She's the president of the Metropolitan Cleveland Alliance of Black School Educators. President Simmons, welcome to Images.
Thank you for having me.
We definitely want to thank you for being here, and we will start with our list of thank yous by thanking Dr. Sansa Clark as well as Ms. Rudolph for having you on their Malietu Kwanzaa celebration, which allowed me a chance to get reintroduced to you as you connected with their theme in the celebration for Kwanzaa and utilize your background as an educator. So we're going to start with asking you to consider introducing yourself to our listening audience by way of your background as an educator, and even thinking about who inspired you in the earliest years when you started to think you were going to become an educator, a teacher.
Well, I've been an educator for 22 years, and I started in 1999. I graduated from a HBCU, Alabama State University. I still like Cleveland State. And I'm usually a fifth grade language arts teacher or eighth grade language arts teacher. That was mainly where I was teaching and everything. And who inspired me? My fourth grade teacher, Evelyn Baker. And I was honored to work with her. I was honored to work with her twice. When I graduated from high school, I was her aide. They call them paraprofessionals now. And then when I went and obtained my degree, I worked in the same district I was raised in, that was Warrensville Heights. And I was her colleague.
Okay.
And she inspired me. She was a strong woman. Her presence was strong. She didn't have to yell or say anything. All she had to do was give a look. And when she gave you that look, that she was displeased or whatever, you wanted to straighten up. And she just did not lower her expectations. Mm-hmm. If anything, she raised them. And how she dressed and just her mannerisms was modeled to me. And the way that she cared about her kids, mm-hmm. cared about the well-being of the kids and everything. She was tough, but she just always had like that little soft spot, that she cared.
Well, with me reflecting on my elementary school years, starting off with A.J. Rickoff, going into Lafayette, I can remember the names, and I see vividly in my mind's eye those teachers who connected and inspired me. So you're in an honored profession. I'll even call their names from Miss Collins into Harvey Rice Elementary School with Miss Lee, Miss Terrell, so many others that, again, advanced me through high school. So with the fact that you are working with these children and you have such a dedication to inspiring a next generation, we appreciate you for joining us. I do want to now connect to the conversation that was lifted with the Malietu program, because we're going to ask President Michelle Rudolph, as well as some of the alumni from the Malietu program and instructors to join us for a future show. But we want to talk about some of the things that were covered in the discussion with you as we were reviewing the resources in our community, particularly in regard to this situation of remote learning and needing to get our children, who we need to embrace this concept of Black culture and history, introduced to now another way of learning. Can you talk about some of the highlights in your points that were made during the Kwanzaa celebration to lead us out of 2020 into 2021?
Correct. And we all know the devastation of this pandemic and the circumstances it puts us in. And we have, parents that's doing their best. They're not the teachers in the classroom that has been trained to teach. Plus, some of them are at home working while they're trying to monitor their child. And the school district had to scramble for since March. How would this look like? And then we really didn't know that we were going to stay remote this long. So it's like every day we're trying to see what next week going to be and how we're going to change that. But also, how can we continue to deliver high quality education for kids? And that's a tough thing because we had a digital divide with some school districts, some students. Some school districts did not have the technology or the capacity of the technology like internet service. So we had to break down that barrier. Then we had to break down barriers even for the educators getting comfortable with Zoom. I never heard of Zoom before this. And just how to navigate teaching remotely.
Mm-hmm.
I have used technology in my classroom, but this takes it to a different level, totally different.
Now, we can definitely consider all of the deficits and all of the challenges that we're facing. However, bringing us to the attention that we have many investments in our community that is allowing us to look at the hope in our situation and even facing these great challenges and these devastating times that we're in. And one of those great things that our community has is the organization that you preside over. So I'd like for you to introduce us to that organization, because not only are you representing us on a local level, this organization connects into statewide conversations. It connects us into national conversations. And with that, we're so pleased that you and your leadership have decided to bridge into Cleveland State University through the Howard A. Mims African American Cultural Center, now by way of our Images broadcast through the Black Studies program. So let's hear about this organization. How does it connect you, other educators in our area, into the state, into the national discussions about how we can make a difference?
Amen. Well, the organization is Metropolitan Cleveland Alliance of Black School Educators. That again is Metropolitan Cleveland Alliance of Black School Educators. We've been around since 1981, and we are the local affiliate of the Ohio Alliance of Black School Educators. There's like 7 affiliates around the state of Ohio. So wherever you are, we have an affiliate for you to join. And then we have the National Alliance of Black School Educators. And we have over in every state an affiliation. Our mission always was to fight for equity education. Before it was a buzzword, that was our mission. Mm-hmm. And the last year when I started the state of address for my organization, I put, if not us, then who? And if not now, then when? And so we took up the banner, and we've been running ever since. We have a Black Man Teach campaign going on. We're going to try to encourage our African American males to go into the business of education, become an educator. And then those that are still educators, we want to mentor them and retain them. and keep them there. Like Preston or Mr. Pickett, what was the first time you had a Black male teacher?
Well, the conversations of receiving a Black male teacher advanced when I was in middle school, junior high school. And that was the conversation that even started, like most other males, by way of our athletic departments in the schools. And then the interest into sports as well, with playing football, allowed me to acquire a number of mentors. However, I was a student in the Upward Bound program at Case Western Reserve University. So there were other supplemental educational activities that encouraged me to see African American men. And I would say any of the alum from that program would reflect on Mr. Bragg, who brought to us a genuine perspective of a Black male figure with interest in higher education. So I'd say middle school, with, again, that course of trajectory into the conversations of high school and college.
Wow. Yes. So we are trying to get some Black male teachers in the elementary section, because most people only have that experience once they get into middle school, some not to high school, some not to college, or some don't never experience a Black male teacher. And statistics shows that 15% of students, if they have a Black male teacher before third grade, they're able to pass successfully to the upper grades. And the mentorship and um, the camaraderie and just having that strong role model means a lot to our kids. So that's why 1.2% of the United States educators are Black males, only 1.2%. If I can raise it to 1.4, then job well done. So if anyone wants to become an educator or know African American male that great with kids, please just interest them into education. Metropolitan Cleveland Alliance of Black School Educators, we also have done several parent workshops before school started. We had a workshop to teach parents just the fundamental ways to help their child on a digital platform. Some parents, they didn't know where the control alt button was. Some parents, they didn't know, even the internet, the curriculum, the digital curriculum that their child was using with their district. So we had the parents, we had learning pods, we had caregivers. They were all in this workshop. It was over 90 participants. Mm-hmm. And we had a lot of facilitators, broke them up in little groups on Zoom. It was all on Zoom. And they really just was able to practice and get more familiar with the learning lines that their child is learning from, the curriculum.
Now, one of the things we're excited about through the Howard Mims African American Cultural Center is that we're acquainted with a number of our students, actually, who are now alumni. Kale Shabazz is one of our educators who recently graduated and has moved into your field and advances his career as an educator. And I believe he's working with an elementary school as well in the work that he's doing as a professional now. But he supported us with one of our organizations known as Speak Up, which carries this history of spoken word. And he connects to the legacy of individuals like Douglas Hostin and Kwanzaa Brewer, so many others who established the Black Poetic Society, who are now becoming advanced in the field of education. In fact, Douglas Hostin is working on his PhD. Actually, I believe in this year will be defending it and advancing to become Dr. Hostin. We're praying for you, Doug. Sage the Wise Cat. So there is the resource that we have at Cleveland State University, as well as the fact that we have an education school at Cleveland State. We have Dr. Banks, who is very much involved with helping our students develop the skills to advance through the curriculum at Cleveland State University. So I hope that you will look at becoming another one of our stakeholders invested in the work that we're doing and sharing the resources of your organization into Cleveland State University to allow us to bridge more professionals, and with your attention to the interests of African-American men into your profession. Now, one of the things that Kel did was work with our culture. So how do you and your organization members advance the interests of Black culture into this discussion of teaching and enlightening and inspiring this next generation of young professionals?
Oh, that's a heavy loaded question.
You
And
shared some information already with me through
in
your
this day,
email communication, so please share with our listening audience.
yes. We connected with this company that just came out with a brand new Black History curriculum. I wish I had the book right with me. And it's called Black History 365. It is awesome. And it is so up to date, enriched. The lessons even have what they call the elephant in the room. So therefore, it doesn't matter what the makeup the audience is, they're going to get to some sticky subjects, some race talks, and we address them. The elephant in the room addresses and gives just a way for the teacher to say, okay, this is how we can address it, that everyone can feel comfortable to share and to stay open. So, and they have QR codes, they have music. Smokey Robinson was on the on the advisory board, and you can't go wrong with Smokey. So they had wonderful advisors to give their point of view and expertise. So Black History 365 is awesome. Now we have a youth group. The youth group, No Justice, KNOW, No Justice, No Peace. And this young youth group, they are so wonderful. You need to look at their podcast, go on YouTube, find it, No Justice, No Peace. And they're located at the Martin Luther King School.
And just to clarify again, you said that's KNOW Justice and then KNOW Peace.
Yes, yes. And they have a new series now, so you have to really check them out. But this group of scholars put a proposal together, presented it to their school board, and now it is mandated for everyone in the district to learn Black history. So they are very on it, and they stay holding people accountable too. So you need to just check it out. I can't explain it more.
Well, I'm hoping that people are understanding when you say you need to, that yes, definitely I will. And hopefully you too, as our listeners, will consider paying attention to this organization that has the attention of our president of the Metropolitan Cleveland Alliance of Black School Educators, as well as paying attention to what they are doing. So if you can talk to us about some of your activities and engagements, and how can someone who is listening, who is struggling as a grandparent, a great grandparent, in wanting to say, we're hearing that you are an organization here as educators interested in using our Black history and culture, and you are individuals who are Black and are concerned about the Black community, but how can you help me as an individual Black person with these children in my family who need some assistance? What can we look forward to hearing from you about in terms of how we can connect to your organization as a resource?
Okay, well, our website, www.metrocapsecabse.com.
Can you go over that one more time and slowly, please, for us?
Okay, www.metrocapsecabse.com.
Okay.
and we have information there for people. We want everyone to join. You don't have to be an educator. We want parents to join because we have a parent commission, and we want the parents to lead that. So therefore, whatever they're in need of, we can assist them. Let's go back to what happened last week at the Capitol. And from that circumstances, Metro Cassidy had a call to action meeting. And now we're going to call to action and get other organizations involved and approach all the superintendents to say, okay, we need to really address head on this systemic bias racism that's going on within our education institution. And this is going to be some hefty work. So we really need everyone to get on board with us on that one.
So
now,
with that conversation as well, we would think that there are educators who are not African Americans who are in different cultural groups. How can we help them understand that these efforts are for the long run and even short-term goals going to benefit them as well? How can others who are not part of the Black experience understand how your organization can support their efforts as educators?
Well, Mr. Picker, we have some Caucasian and other ethnicities as members, and you just got to get involved, and it's all about the partnerships, the friendships, the educating each other about each other's cultures and ethnicity. So we're open to all, and hopefully it would not be Black history. It would just be history.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm an advocate for Black history as American history, and American history is world history. So I hear the history 3 times, but definitely want to know that that Black part is carried in any of those conversations that you'll advance. The teachable moments, obviously, in what occurred last week, and hearing and paying attention to the expression of your interest in the curriculum you want to inspire, there are several teachable moments. Now, with that, that gives me a chance to acknowledge the fact that the 30th annual partnership between Cleveland State University and Cuyahoga Community College will allow us on Tuesday, January 19th, to receive words from our own President Harlan Sands in partnership with Cuyahoga Community College and its president, Alex Johnson, in addition to President Danielle Senior of the NAACP. They are allowing our students to have conversations about our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Now, I'd imagine there's a curriculum there for you, but we also have a visual celebration that continues by way of the Howard Mims Cultural Center with images of Dr. King when he was right here in Cleveland. So what we're looking at is trying to inspire our college students as well as those high school students down to the elementary school students that you're working with to realize that that history you're talking about is as close to them as Cleveland, Ohio, is as close to them as the thoughts and memories of Dr. King in their lives. How does this next generation connect to Dr. King and the thought that as even elementary school students, they can conceptualize this concept of a civil rights movement?
Ooh, I guess he froze. But Mr. Pickett.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Now you want to know how can our youth conceptualize the movement?
The civil rights movement, to then apply it to today, because part of this process of educating is teaching a generation how to connect the past with the present and to allow them to project the future with that history.
Absolutely. And our kids, they're resilient and they're ready. They're ready to know their history and to they have a voice. I was talking to a group of young kids about the protesting, and they were involved in protesting with their parents or other caregivers, and they really want to see equitable education and rights for their kids.
Mhm.
So they are ready to assemble and to produce.
Well, with us having our closing minutes of this show, we definitely want to ask you to consider coming back to report to us your success with the organization, with your leadership, for you to introduce us to other individuals who are part of your organization, and for us to learn about the resources that are available to us out in the community that can connect into Cleveland State University, just like the Malietu program did with the work of Dr. Sansa Clark, which is continuing into the next generation with the leadership of Miss Michelle, President Michelle Rudolph. So we thank you for joining us in these conversations about your organization and introducing that. And we ask our listening audience to please pay attention to what we're doing at Cleveland State University. Our event at 12 noon can allow you to connect with Cleveland State University and the Black Studies program. And you can go online and go into the URL with www.classohio.edu/black-studies. That's class.csuohio.edu/black-studies. So again, thank you, Madam President Robin Simmons, for
Thank you
joining
so
us
much for
here.
having me.
Definitely, it's an honor. We look forward to this conversation continuing, and definitely the shout out is extended to the Malietu program. Our wealth continues through the efforts of an entire community coming together and working together and sharing our resources. Thank you for tuning in to Images.
You have been listening to Images, a public affairs radio program produced by the Cleveland State University Black Studies program and this station. The opinions expressed were those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Cleveland State University, the Black Studies program, or the station. We hope you have enjoyed the music performed by the Jazz Heritage Orchestra. If you are interested in finding out more about the Black Studies program, call 216-687-3655 or visit our website at www.csuohio.edu/blackstudies. Established in 1969, the Black Studies program at Cleveland State University is currently comprised of 5 academic components, as well as the Jazz Heritage Orchestra, which contribute to the program's mission to promote knowledge and understanding, to be shared with all generations and cultures concerning the rich legacy of the African diaspora. There is the academic program, an interdisciplinary curriculum of nearly 80 courses offering a major and minor in Black Studies. The Howard A. Mims African American Cultural Center is open to the public and features art exhibitions, Kumba Arts presentations by various performing artists, a Curtis Wilson lecture series, panel discussions, and Umoja roundtables.